The 2018 Human Rights Report for Belize by the U.S. State Department, in a nutshell, is not good for the country and reflects that much work is needed to address human rights issues. The declaration of a state of public emergency and specific incidents in which residents were killed at the hands of lawmen were ventilated in the report. Aside from the allegations of unlawful killings, quote, the arbitrary deprivation of life, unquote, the report speaks to the volatility of a developing country.
This is not necessarily the end of the process. It's just a snapshot of where we are and a third eye view of where we are from the U.S. State Department's vantage point. And so it's an opportunity for us to take stock of where we are, to take steps to correct certain things. We might disagree with certain things in there, and we might also want to elaborate and dig deeper into some of the things that they have pointed out. A lot of the observations that were made in respect to things that fall under the national security and the police department. Well, we have a new police commissioner, and there's a honeymoon period that they do have. And so for the commissioner, I hope that he takes it as an opportunity to see what had been going wrong and use it as a watermark to where improvements can be made.
Back in December 2016, Belize signed on to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. It's been over 2 years since it was adopted due to the outcry by social partners, but the process of implementation has been moving slow. The report also speaks of corruption and lack of transparency in government.
Corruption does affect the ability to deliver on human rights issues, and I think that is why it was included at that point there. As you rightly said, Belize has signed on to the UNCAC, and according to the Attorney General, we're taking steps. According to the government official, it's an entire process, and we have been taking steps to it. To me, what I pull out of that aspect of the report was more so the fact that the U.S. authorities were not fooled by certain moves that were made. If you look at the report, what it says, and it's a very short document, which I'm grateful that was shared with me, but what the report says is that there has been a move to take lower level or mid-level people, and the higher level people walk around almost with impunity. And so that little trick of saying, okay, well, I want to give you the security guard when it's the big boss giving the trouble, the U.S. government is indirectly, to my mind, saying, in my opinion, saying it doesn't fool anybody. Where we want to see the actual changes dealing with where the head of corruption is and to get it chopped off.
Recently, pictures surfaced of the deplorable condition in which prisoners were held at a police precinct in Belize City. Since then, renovations are on the way to fix the cell. Vice President of the Human Rights Commission of Belize, Kevin Artis, says that it is more than that, and some prisoners have been deprived of their rights.
Our prisons have always been a thing of concern and a soft spot for me, because I do believe that although we have better management than we used to have, I do believe that there's tremendous room for improvement. One of the issues that they're having there is in relation to complaints by prisoners. Now imagine, no system works properly. So imagine you're in the prison and you have a prison officer who doesn't like you. And who do you complain to? Well, there are provisions in the law that allow for a position called a visiting justice, which allows for prisoners who are having issues to complain to and to have those issues resolved. For years, we've been advocating for that person and for that authority to be able to go in and do that on a regular basis. The U.S. statement or report is that other human rights agencies have been allowed to go in.
Under the laws of Belize, a child can legally work from the age of 14. A recent survey shows that 42% of the Belizean population are children. A large number of that population is victim to child labor, particularly in the agricultural industries. This is a major human rights concern, and there have been several programs implemented by GOB to reduce the cases. The report makes reference to the many issues affecting children, including early and forced marriage, the sexual exploitation of children, and child labor.
Child labor is a significant issue, and when you have issues like continuing economic crises in the country, it's an international phenomenon, then you're going to have these things come up. The report also pointed out to issues like trafficking in persons, which we know is a tremendous problem. We know that it exists, and we have not had the prosecutions that we should have.
A recurring theme from the 2017 report that was highlighted is the length of time between charging someone and trial dates, which generally spans about 6 years. Duane, Moody for News 5.